What is up, guys? This is Crazy Black 108 here, back with the next Star Wars The Clone Wars episode review to Catch a Jedi, episode 19 of The Clone Wars Season 5. I just got done watching the commentary for this episode. It is Sunday. The commentary, someone's... Okay, I'm gonna say straight up, spoiler alert major right now. This whole thing's usually... It's a review of the episode. I'm going all in depth. Spoilers are, bound to happen. But... You know what, I'll talk about it later, because I don't want to say that right now and make that the rest of the video, but I'll just talk about what happens in the episode. So the episode basically starts off at the Jedi Temple, and they're having a meeting where Tarkin's saying, Ahsoka, she Jedi mind tricked the trooper to open up her cell, then she attacked him, she attacks the murder clone, she kills him close, and then she ran off. And I'm saying to myself, so wait a minute, y'all just happen to lose the footage too? Okay, there's cameras in every cell, but there's not a camera in these hallways? Did you lose that too? Come on, Tarkin. Mister, I got this whole nice little facility and stuff. I know what I'm doing. No, come on now. But it's for convenience of the plot, so I'm going to let it go because I don't really care too much. Because the episode's been done with. But anyway, after that cuts off, the Jedi are, sitting there, and Plo Koon, the one that brought Ahsoka to the temple, he says, I would never have thought that Ahsoka could have fell so far. And I'm just sitting there like, damn, you're not even gonna you're not even gonna give her a chance? Dang, that's crucial. That's harsh. And Yoda asks Anakin, what do you think about this? I mean, do you agree? And Anakin says that she's on the run, to clear her name, and we have to find her. That's the reason why she ran. And Ki-Adi-Mundi asked him, was there any way to stop her? And he said no. And I'm just kind of like, what? I mean, because he could have stopped her. He could have, but no. I mean, which I'm not saying it's bad that he lied. I mean, or even technically that was a lie. Truthfully, he couldn't stop her. That he could have. I mean, it all depends on your point of view. But then we get to see some episode 3 type of stuff. They're gonna assign Jedi to go and find Ahsoka. So they assign Plo Koon, and then Anakin says, "I'm gonna go," and then Mace Windu's like, "No, we don't. I don't think it's a good idea. We need you to stay here." And it's like the episode 3 when Mace Windu said, "Anakin, I want you to stay here, at the Jedi Temple, so that when stuff happens, I mean, we don't need you in the way." Anakin went and came, and the Jedi Order's extinct. Nice, nice, Anakin. But no, Anakin's sitting there talking, and he says to Mace Windu, "For all due respect, Master Windu, she is my Padawan." And then Mace Windu's like, "Yeah, that's the problem." And then Yoda, Yoda being the more like, "Hey, I'm kind of mellow on this right now. If you could prove it to us that you're not gonna be blinded by your emotions and your feelings, it's fine." And I love the Obi-Wan stuff for me. He said, "I think we'd be foolish if we don't send Anakin on this mission. He knows we're better than any of us." I'm like, thank you, Obi-Wan, because honestly, that would be the most foolish thing ever. And at first, I was thinking, the scene where you see that the guards holding the lightsabers, like the ones that you saw standing out there with, not Juna Castanum, but Sindrel in the first episode of this arc. I thought Anakin was going to go through a trial to prove that he had a clear mind, but then no, they didn't have him do that. So basically, they let Anakin go, and they set up a task force with him and Captain Rex, and then Coruscant, clone troopers, and Plo Koon, Commander Wolf, or Captain Wolf. Was it Commander Wolf? Commander Wolf, yeah. Where is he at? He's somewhere over there on that wall. Yeah, Commander Wolf. And they, setup works out fine. So we cut to Ahsoka, who's down on level 1313. Now, in the commentary on StarWars.com, something interesting. If you're interested in the game, I want you to go look at that commentary, because it shows somewhere it says, from the game, 1313. Why is a Twilight flying down there? I mean, it's not the Twilight, obviously, because it was blown up. We saw what happened back, during the Maul arc. But it's the same model of ship. And so I'm just saying to myself, the last 2 big series, which I'm going to say, The Force Unleashed and Star Wars 1313, there's been a lot that's been drawn between both the Clone Wars and the game. For example, the Sith Apprentice back in lightsaber style, Ahsoka back in the lightsaber style, both apprentices of Anakin Skywalker. except at the time the Sith Apprentice or Glenn Mark is Darth Vader's apprentice. But you get what I'm saying. So anyway, I didn't think that in this whole episode that we actually saw 1313, never by name at least. Because I always remember, oh, there's 1315, oh no, down 1312, oh, and 1317, 13 this here, 13 there, but not 1313. I'm not sure. I think that first scene where we see Ahsoka on the ground there, you know, those, the police have been reported to about Ahsoka. No longer the droids, they're actual people. And you know, she talks to that guy that's basically drunk, like, yeah, what do you want? I'm hungry, yeah. that had me just kind of laughing. He's like, hey, when a woman's walking by. I mean, this dude is obviously he's drunk. He's like, hey, you want food? Yeah. What do you want? Your cloak. Alright. And so Ahsoka then, you know, goes up, she gets on the train, and they see her, she escapes them on the train. As she gets off the train, there's more already there. She's like, oh man, so then she has to run. She gets in this elevator compartment, which they shoot at and they mess it up to where it's basically just like descending really quick. There's a little kid in there. So Ahsoka's trying to figure out this way the whole time. It's a Twilight kid, and the kid's like, hey, you know, here, it's here, because, you know, Ahsoka can't understand their language, but he's like, hey, here, hey, right here, hey, here. So she's trying to figure out what she's starting to cut a hole in the top, and then where basically just finally hits the stop, hits the button, it's an emergency stop, and it stops it, you know. And she's like, oh yeah, I'm kind of off my game right now. It cuts it, you know, she escapes with the kid. But who's there and sees Ahsoka? This lady with a mask on, who we end up finding out is Asajj Ventress. Ventress is still bounty hunting, so she's gonna she's gonna take in Ahsoka as a bounty. So as she's doing that, Ahsoka and her, you know, they start talking, and Ahsoka's saying, you know, you bring me in, they're just gonna turn you in for the crimes you have against the Republic, all this other stuff. We should be partners. Long story short, they agree to be partners. And right as that moment's happening, Anakin and Plo Koon and them are all coming down. Anakin says, shine a light over there. It's them. Anakin literally just jumps out the thing, you know, using the Force, softens his land, lands, starts running after. And my only thing is this, with all these different Jedi Force abilities they have, why have I never seen no one in the Clone Wars use, you know, like the Force, like the sprint, like where the Jedi can run faster? I'm just saying to myself, Anakin, could you have made it there in time? Plot convenience, it's alright. You know, but it's just like, you know, in Episode 1, the first time that we ever saw Jedi speed, they just literally dipped. I mean, it was like we've never seen it since. I don't know. It's something I just thought of. Anyway, and Anakin's like torn. He sees that it's Ventress and Ahsoka. He's like, why are they together? And I mean, it's looking more and more bleak for Anakin, who's trying to believe and trust Ahsoka, but he's like, you're working with Ventress? And so basically Ahsoka gets a message out to Barriss. And Barriss is, you know, I told you I'd do some digging. And early in the episode, Ahsoka messaged her saying, I need you to find me some leads. And Barriss said, don't contact me from your communicator anymore because it's risky, so Ahsoka had to crush that. So Ahsoka rewires this one communications device and makes it where it can't be tracked, so that she could talk to Barriss. Barriss says, I did some digging, you need to go level 13, I think it was 1312, or 1315, I can't remember, it was like one of those levels, and so there's an abandoned weapons warehouse, go there and there's a clue there for you. And Ahsoka's like, how'd you find this? Because she's found out that Lita had gone there before. It's like, how'd you find us out? She said, I told you I'd do some digging. We'll get on to that later. So while they're doing that, one of the little probe droids that they had sent out to search, you know, the level for Ahsoka and Ventress finds them. Wolf catches up with them with a battalion of clones, and Ahsoka's like, we're not gonna hurt you. I have no intentions of hurting anyone. But she said, I will not be captured. He's like, yes, you will, Commander. He's like, I will not be captured. And then Ventress puts down the helmet. She's like, I'm fine with fighting. I'm fine with it. I'm cool. And Ahsoka like, sister, we're not hurting anyone. So Ventress pulls out both lightsabers though and just starts doing like a crazy whirlwind of moves just to get them to back up. She cuts off their lightsaber guns. Ahsoka just starts meleeing everyone. Basically end up beating everyone. Ventress gets like picked up by Wolf, and then she kicks and like knocks out two of the other clones, and then pushes back on Wolf, kicks him and slams his head basically into a pole, knock them all out. No one's been killed. And Ventress says, see, I turned a new leaf. And the thing with their agreement right now, the reason why Ventress is working with her is because if she helps Ahsoka, Ahsoka promised that she would speak on her behalf and try to get all her war crimes pardoned. So Ventress brings her to the warehouse, and then they part ways, and Ahsoka comments on how she never thought the two of them would have a discussion like this. Oh, I was talking about the warehouse, right? Okay, so they get to the warehouse, Ahsoka comments on how they never thought they would work together, and Ventress says something that makes me think of, what it's going to be like after Episode 3. These are strange times. And it honestly is. I mean, it's going to be the next 20 years, 23 years are going to be a lot of pain for the Republic. Republic's going to be no more. I mean, everyone knows what happens after Episode 3, so I'm not even going to go delve into a discussion about that. But, okay. So Ahsoka goes in there and she starts looking around. She doesn't even know what she's looking for. Meanwhile, Ventress has been hit with a trash can and knocked out. We had these little cat characters called something. They're named after something after Dave Filoni's cat, Leku, something like that. But so Avenger sees that and she's thinking that was Ahsoka coming back for some reason, but it wasn't. And then it kind of makes her lose her focus, and then she gets knocked out by a canister, and that doesn't really get a knock and blow. Then whoever this person is takes her mask and then grabs both of Ventress's lightsabers after she's knocked her out with a steel pole. So then it cuts to Ahsoka in the warehouse where she's looking for the stuff. She's like, what am I supposed to be looking for? And this person comes and attacks her. And I mean, she's wielding both of these lightsabers really skilledly. She's attacking Ahsoka. Ahsoka's, basically on the defense. And then Ahsoka's mad like Ventress. I thought, we just had a partnership. I mean, Ahsoka's mad about that. So they start fighting. I mean, you could see Ahsoka was fighting her with the intent to kill, especially when you see Ahsoka do that one move, and then she goes and she stabs right in that pole, and that was planned to be a blow to the head, straight up, you're done. But the person evades, and I mean, this person is just beating Ahsoka up using the Force, the canisters at her, using the Force to scare her. She does something like what Luke did on Bespin, where Luke grabbed the steam and floated on Vader. This person takes Ventress lightsaber, cuts open, and steam pops out, and it's getting Ahsoka, and it might actually be gas. It might not be gas. It might be some sort of airborne, something that can help create a fire, basically an explosion based off. I know some of that came out was gas, but the rest of it was steam. Could have been helium. I'm not even sure. But anyway, causes this big explosion, and Ahsoka gets basically knocked out. Ahsoka has a lightsaber. She turns on the defense. She gets punched and knocked back, and then she loses her other lightsaber. Ahsoka has no lightsabers right now, so that's something to look at. Now I was thinking back to episode 2, Obi-Wan, this weapon is your life, all that other stuff. So then Ahsoka kind of gets them, and you can see she's dizzy, and then she starts fighting. She has a spinning kick. Basically, she gets kicked, knocked back, and then falls through this hole. This whole fight was just so not traumatized, but it's just painful to watch. And she falls down, and then where she falls at is right where they have the nano droids and the same explosive that were used to blow up the temple. And then whoever this person is, which I'll get onto in a second, sees that and then leaves. And runs away, and then Ahsoka turns around. She says, "Oh, Commander Wolf, wait, I need this plane." And then it's zapped by stun. Anakin shows up, he sees her, and then Wolf says, "These the same explosives, and just bad stuff." So they're getting ready to leave, and I mean, no, they're going back to the temple, and Yoda's talking to him, asking if they had captured her, and he said, "Yeah, we did, and there was no incident." And my thing was too, when Wolf reported after they had gotten beat up, he said, Ahsoka and escape with the help of Asajj Ventress and stuff. I was just thinking to myself, should you say, wait a minute, something's weird, she didn't kill any of us. Why not kill us? I mean, it's a lot simpler. But I guess he's not thinking that. But Anakin says that something still doesn't add up because of the fact that Ventress was working with Ahsoka, but she wasn't there. It was like he said, it was just weird. So now, what I'm going to get on to is speculation for next week's episode. Adding 2 and 2 together, I'm about 100% sure it's Barriss. About 100% sure that it's her. I don't know why, but I'm about 100% sure. Now, of course, I was the one that said that I thought it was Asajj Ventress before. And that Ahsoka was going to end up killing Asajj Ventress and all this other stuff. But no. But it looks like next week's episode, we're going to get that fight between Anakin and Asajj Ventress that was always in the comics, that was originally where Anakin got the scar from. But no, he got the scar from her way earlier in the Clone Wars because of the retconning and new continuity and all this other stuff. But anyway, I think Anakin's going to kill Asajj Ventress next episode. We'll see. He might not. And if he doesn't, I'll be a tiny bit surprised, but we'll see what's going to happen. I kind of want Ventress not to die, but we'll see. So, basically, from here, Ahsoka's gonna be put on trial. I mean, Palpatine is there, and he's like, little Ahsoka. It's like so bad, and they're gonna come to a judgment based off what they have and the evidence and stuff. I'm just saying to myself, this is crazy. And Dave Filoni said something, in the commentary. He said, I think for those of y'all that have been able to add it together, y'all will be able to come to accept who it is. But for some of you, next Saturday's going to be a bad Saturday. Now, based off that commentary alone, you're going to be able to come in to accept who it is. We know it isn't Ahsoka, so it won't be tragic that it's her. Who's the only other person without this whole series of episodes that you could accuse? Not Tarkin, because he ain't going to get punished because the dude's running the Death Star later. It's going to be Barriss. I'm sorry, it's going to be Barriss Offee. That's how it's going to go. Barriss is the one that did it. I have no clue why. I'm guessing she's going to be executed. I don't know. Put in prison? Everyone said Barriss died in Order 66, but then only place I can remember even possibly seeing that was, I think, in Episode 3's comic book adaptation. Because besides that, I honestly cannot remember seeing Barriss Offee get executed. I mean, not executed, but getting killed during Order 66. I'm actually going to look at this real quick. Let's see here. We have Ki-Adi-Mundi getting killed. Aayla Secura. Okay, here we go. Yeah, we have Barriss Offee getting killed on Felucia, I believe. Right here. But my thing is, that's the only other place I've seen that. And for some reason, I'm not going to be surprised if it's retconned and she's not killed there. I mean, because I don't know who else it could be. Someone else smaller. Who else in the temple would have done it? Who else was key that you could see? I don't know, guys, but lots of craziness happening with the series right now. Crazy Black 108 saying, hope everyone enjoyed this review. Look forward to what might be the final episode of Clone Wars for a very long time. Depending on how this stuff goes for Season 6. Like I said, discussion about that after next week's episode. And yeah, thank you all for watching. And until next time, guys, peace. And may the Force be with you always.